It's Adrian Bo, CEO of Adrian Bo Training and Auctions, and also Chief Auctioneer for Ray White Quakers Hill, the Tessling Group. It's Sunday, the 23rd of February, and I'm coming to you this week, as usual, with my weekly auction wrap. Now, nationally throughout Australia, we had 2,525 auctions occur throughout the nation. Now, that's the busiest weekend of auctions since December 2024, which is a positive sign in the market, because the more inventory or stock available, if you like, the more that the market gets lubricated in terms of more activity, more buyers, more sellers, and of course the ripple effect to tradespeople, solicitors, accountants, financial advisors, which only helps the economy grow and expand. Now, the last week nationally, the clearance rate was 63%, which is good to see an uplift from the week before, which was only around the 53% mark. And of course, that could well do with the interest rate reduction we had from the Reserve Bank, predominantly being the cash rate, from 4.35% down to 4.1%. The first decrease in over 4 years, which does suggest a downwards trajectory, is the next pattern, which is a welcome relief for all mortgage holders throughout the nation. Now, in terms of our own personal clearance rate, as me as an auctioneer, on behalf of the Tessling Group, we were very fortunate to well exceed the 63% mark being last week, and I'm sure the national average, which we were very fortunate and achieved an 80% clearance rate over the weekend, with 7 out of 8 auctions being sold under the hammer, being a 90% clearance rate. And then we had on Sunday 4 out of 6 being about an 80% clearance rate. So combined, we're talking around 80%, which was outstanding. Now, the best news of all of that is that we had delighted buyers, delighted vendors, an average registration number of 5, and of course, either all at or well above the reserve price. So on Saturday, we had 54 Kirsten Street in Quakers Hill sell for a terrific price of $1,251,000. That's a terrific entry point level for a freestanding home there. Then 45 Sydney Street in Riverston sold for $1.2 million, which was a large block and an outstanding result again. 113 Richmond Road in Blacktown, 1150 was the result. That's on a main road and needed work. So I would say that would be close to a record for Richmond Road there. Then we had 36 Coralie Crescent in Marsden Park, and that sold for an outstanding price, well in excess of the reserve, of $1,145,000, being a lovely townhouse. And then we went on to a second property in Marsden Park, and that was 19 Penrose Street, and that was again in Marsden Park, selling for $912,500, a single level there. Now again, many agents erroneously feel that Marsden Park is not an auction precinct. Well, we've certainly created a massive dichotomy as far as that's concerned, because in terms of Josh and myself, being the Tessling Group, we have a 100% clearance rate in Marsden Park, all above reserve price. So the auction process does work, and I highly recommend anyone with any delusion that it doesn't work then to study the Adrian Bo system, which you can go to my website, adrianbo.com, and certainly either book in a session or purchase the online streaming version and DM me, and I'll provide you a discount code for that as well. Then we went on to 12 at 91 Pye Road in the core market for Josh, being Quakers Hill, and that sold for $870,000, and that's in a townhouse complex there. Terrific result, well above reserve. 5 at 72 Arnott Road, also in Quakers Hill, another townhouse for $817,000. Amazing competitive bidding on that one. And then Sunday, what a lovely day it was. And we had 4 Acorn Way in Acacia Gardens, and that sold for an outstanding competitive auction price of $1,395,000. And what a premium for a single level home that is. 78 Trevor Tom's Drive in also Acacia Gardens, $1,325,000. Now that's an immaculate single level home, and some amazing competition amongst double-digit registrations on that one. 66 Summerfield Avenue in Quakers Hill, I would say, would be one of my favourites for the day yesterday, being in our core market, and also an incredible price there for a double story, and that was $1,515,000, and also one of my favourites because the owners were just beautiful religious family that have been living there for some time, and a beautiful family did buy that. And unfortunately, what happens in our industry, one of the competitors, even though this property sold many hundreds of thousands over the reserve price with over 10 registered bidders, called the vendor and said that that price wasn't good, and the vendor was very savvy enough to tell that agent that he was completely incorrect, and that was absolute unprofessional behaviour to say such a disgusting thing towards him and his family, and that is degrading him, the house, and his family and his religion. So that agent should be absolutely ashamed of themselves to be conducting themselves in that manner. Absolutely terrible, and that's what makes the industry unrecognisable at times, when you hear of absolute lunacy and duplicitous activity of that nature. And then we had 10 Ramona Street, also in the core area of Quakers Hill, absolutely dominating Quakers Hill, the Tessling Group, and that sold for $1,560,000. That was on 900 square metres, or over 900 square metres, with a 20-metre frontage. An outstanding result, incredible bidding, and terrific competition. Now, the lease of the week, or the new listing of the week, through Anthony at the Tessling Group. He's just listed a terrific property there at 15A Starling Street, also in Marsden Park, where we absolutely dominate. In Marsden Park, there is a Ray White office there, but we seem to be at Ray White Quakers Hill dominating in Marsden Park with our clearance rate and our volume and our leasing and our managements. And that was a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1 parking, and that's now listed for $850 a week. So I'm really glad that you've tuned in this week, and that interest rate adjustment certainly is a positive sign. Now, the outcome of that could go 2 ways. Certainly what we have noticed from the seller side is that it is motivating sellers to list their property, because all my coaching clients, not just Josh, who I auction for, but I auction and train agents throughout Australia and New Zealand, and what they're telling me is the inquiries they're receiving for the amount of sellers is very high, and that's encouraging. And I would sense that that's been triggered by an interest rate adjustment, and people are feeling that it's the right time to do it. As far as buyers are concerned, you can bid with confidence, knowing that that pattern will continue, and we're finally in a downwards trajectory, and I suspect we will see another 2 or 3 this calendar year. God bless, live with virtue, and I'll see you next week.